Krishnan Mitroo, Consultant Disaster Management and Environment, is joining me here on the broadcast. Thank you very much for joining us. This entire project and this entire rescue operation seems to be extremely challenging given the landscape, and that rocks are still falling, and there are about 8 to 10 people who are still trapped inside.
Good afternoon to you, and good afternoon to all the viewers. You see, basically, any situation like this, particularly in the hills, is a very difficult situation to handle. Unfortunately, what seems to me is it's a kind of a landslide of loose debris. The hills are right now, after summer season, after a long time of the previous rains, the soil goes loose, and any tampering with the soil at that time does trigger such a landslide. Now, I'm sure the authorities are doing this, executing this work, must have done the soil study before taking on the work. But primarily, these kind of landslides happen because of two reasons. Number one, because of dry soil. Number two, because of soil erosion. You see, what happens is when there's too much of interference with the nature by way of cutting of trees and doing unplanned developments, the land tends to go dry, and the tree roots which hold the land, the soil together, becomes loose. That is one of the main reasons of such landslides, because of land erosion. It is very unfortunate that this incident has happened, and it will take a magnanimous task to recover the 10 people who are still stuck up, hope they are alive, who are stuck up in the tunnel. And
yes, absolutely, Mr. Mitroo. In fact, just to take that point forward, when a project of this size and in this environment or landscape is really carried out, where there is so much of drilling and cutting into the stones, so to speak, what are the precautions that the project management team really needs to ensure and undertake to avoid this kind of a disaster?
You see, the basic thing what we need to do is to first do some kind of piling in the hills, so that the hills develop a robust soil. That can be done by putting pillars on the upward side of the tunnel, number one. Number two, well before the task is undertaken, there should be a mass plantation of trees, so that the upper soil gets a grip. Now, only when the upper soil starts falling loose, the lower soil also, because it's a known fact that in a hill, if you roll a stone, it can generate a landslide. The first stone that rolls in a landslide is from the topsoil. We must make sure that the topsoil is robust.
Right.
Unless we do that, and to add to that, to give the strength to the hills, we must pile the what do you call it, the columns or the pillars on the upward side of the tunnel.
Okay, fair enough. Mitroo, as you just heard my colleague outline the kind of challenges, and even the Deputy Commissioner there, the kind of challenges of the area which needed to be stabilized as well before the process started, the rescue started. Obviously, it is an extremely difficult rescue operation.
Thank you, Pradeep, for the updates. I would start with, the chance of survival of the people who are trapped inside, the workers who are trapped inside. The chance of survival, let me do a little brainstorming. You see, whenever a situation like this happens, a landslide happens, it normally covers the mouth of the tunnel. Now, it depends as to how much depth of the tunnel has already been dug up. that will determine whether, when the mouth gets closed by the debris, if the people trapped inside can run backwards into the cavity which has already been dug up. And well, though it will be dark, absolutely, there will be no oxygen, etc. A lot of perils in that. The fact is that that will still give them a little chance for survival till they are rescued. Number one. Number two, I would repeat what Pradeep has also repeated a couple of times. This place is called Khuni Nala. I have traveled plenty between Srinagar and the plains, and I have also seen this area very well. It is known as Khuni Nala because the wind shear over here, the wind blast over here is so strong that, like Pradeep also said, even the stones, the bigger size stones, fly off in this valley, and at many times they have hit the vehicles going on the highway, and serious accidents have been caused any number of times in the past. And not only that, it is known that in this area, the Khuni Nala, why is it called Khuni Nala? Because a lot of destruction has taken place by Mother Nature, by way of very strong winds. People have flown off, the vehicles flying in this area have flown off. The erosion also takes place. The land erosion also takes place because the high winds and very, very strong currents which flow in this valley because of the topographical situation of the hills, generally in this area. So it is very important to know what is the depth of the tunnel which has already been dug, so that we can determine what are the chances of survival of those people who are trapped. And also, as I said, that this was a dangerous area. Double precautions should have been taken before venturing into this project.
Absolutely. Krishnan Mitroo, thank you so much for joining us with your perspective here as far as this incident is concerned.